Welcome back to Grind and Grace. I'm Mike and Charles. Today we're going to be discussing fulfilling your obligations to your clients and the pitfalls that comes with that. So Charles here has a explanation that he wants to get into because he had a little tough spot dealing with it,
Sure.
and then we'll go into it.
One thing that I run into is that people say, hey, Charles is a nice guy. And one thing I do really try to do is I hate to let people down. And so oftentimes I find myself in a position, especially in the services business, that your services will come with X, Y, and Z, and your clients will have an expectation that it comes with A through Z, and they start making demands, and sometimes you give them A, all right. They demand B. I'll give it to them. Next thing you know, you find yourself all the way through R, and you're like, "What on earth?" Like, this doesn't come with all this. But
Hmm.
you're in a point where you're in too deep, and you're feeling like, okay, what can you do? At least this has happened to me multiple times, where you feel like, and then you get into a point where no matter what you do, it's not enough, and they're unhappy. How have you put in boundaries in place? Because I mean, this I haven't heard you talk about this kind of thing to where they're controlling you.
Yeah. No, I did have those points in the beginning phase of my business, and I quickly found that I was in a losing battle. Like
Mm,
I would never own my time. So, for instance, I would let my clients call me any time of day or night,
mm,
and I would jump up and do the work. And I was working nonstop because I had no boundaries on my time.
mm,
I would be out to
mm,
dinner with my family, get a call, hey,
mm,
we got to cut dinner short. I need to go do something. I had all these negative situations, and it didn't become a problem in my life to where my wife had to bring it to my attention or like somebody was lacking. Like I already knew that it was going to come. Probably this is a strategic mindset. Like I already see the writing on the wall. I was like, I need to nip this in the bud. Or it's in the bud.
in the
Nip
bud,
it
in the bud.
in the
Yeah,
bud.
it's like a rose or like a weed or
Okay.
yeah.
Nip it in the bud. All right. So um, I laid it out in my terms and conditions. Like I actually put it in writing and sent it out to the clients and said, these are my times. If you call me outside of the time, you automatically get a charge for an hour at this rate if I have to answer your call. You know what? The call stopped like almost immediately. And only times I do get a call is in an emergency event. And so from having consistent calls nearly every night,
Mm,
every night, weekends, holidays, it didn't matter. All gone.
hmm. So, question: how did people react when you put that out there? Like when you put that email, the new T's and C's, what they say?
I I don't know how they felt. I
Or
didn't
did you get feedback? Did anyone reply back to the message?
know.
Hmm. So they accepted it.
They didn't really have a choice. I mean, it
Were
was
you willing to let people go that didn't accept it?
yes, yes, and that's what it comes down to is you have to be willing to lose, and that's why I didn't have those boundaries in the beginning. Is that I didn't want to lose them, but I realized that I would lose myself if I didn't, and so
Mm,
you have all money's not good money, and so you have to be willing to lose, and so I learned
mm,
that quickly, and I implemented with everything. So like if and I suggest this to everybody, even in a personal situation. If you're seeing someone in a relationship aspect, dating or something, and you see a red flag, that is a red flag. That's why they call them red flags. Don't think it will get better later. It will not. Don't think that, oh, I'll look past it because I really like this person.
mm.
It is a red flag.
All of a sudden you get in an argument and the person starts choking you. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, no, they were just hungry.
It was just a one-time thing, and they were tired or they
Right.
had too much to drink.
Mm,
Like, no. red flags are red flags.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and they typically don't get better on their own.
yeah.
That's a good point. It's a great point.
And so I brought that same concept and brought it into business.
Mm.
And I've severed business relationships because of red flags. Like there was a very rich billionaire that was one that wanted me to run his IT business, well, the IT side of his business, and we didn't see eye to eye because he wanted me to just do anything he said when he said it, and
Mm.
that's not my business
Was he going
agreement.
to be paying you more than you earned from any other client?
Yeah, he was going to be paying significantly more than I'd ever gotten paid at that point in time.
Mm.
Uh, I
Mm.
would be making my annual salary in a month just with the base compensation.
Oh, wow.
And so because of that, he knew how enticing that was, and he thought that he could leverage it to just do it because that's how
He
everyone
thought he
else
had a
functioned.
worker. Yeah.
That's how everybody else functioned around him.
He overpaid and he got what he wanted.
Yeah. And that may work for them, but like,
You had values, principles.
yeah, some people sell their soul to the devil like
Mm.
that. And like,
Yeah, I've done that.
yeah.
I've sold my. Oh, I don't like that term. But
Yeah. Metaphorically.
especially, yeah, I don't even want to use that. But I've given more than I should have, even for less, because I thought it was um, the honorable thing to do.
Yeah.
Because my biggest thing is I'll put myself on the line for my word over money.
Hmm.
I'll rather be a servant for what you feel I should do and what I think I should do versus like if it's going to compensate me well or not. And I'm in a situation now where, in order to become a partner or to get into proximity with someone that I respect, I'm doing a favor for someone else. And that favor is draining. And, and it's that person is actually a bit challenging to even work with, to be candid. And I don't even think they see what I'm doing as a favor. They see this as the ticket for the proximity that I gain
Hmm.
in this relationship.
Yeah.
And I also can see, like, regardless of what I do, um, well, I won't say that. I don't want to put negativity out there, but I do feel like it's probably whatever I'm bringing is not appreciated the way that I hope it will be.
Okay. So one thing that I've said to you before, and all it takes is effective communication and clear, concise communication. And so clear and concise communication can be done by taking out all of the so-called pleasantries
Mm-hmm.
out out of the speech, but leaving tact. So you don't say things in an insulting way, but you got to make sure that the point can
Sure.
not be misconstrued in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So like
And it's even more of a challenge when the person,
it's not listening.
correct,
Yeah.
or they're talking over you or they're cutting you off.
And that's where the red flags come in. And so that person revealed a red flag that they're not willing to communicate. And if somebody's not willing to communicate, that
Yeah.
relationship is ended. So if you have it's like you have a relationship with a door. You can't get mad at the door for not talking back because you already know that that red flag is there. That door doesn't talk back. So this person doesn't listen. They're not going to listen later if they're not listening now.
It's a good point.
So
It's a good point.
that is the point of the relationship from this point forward. And moving forward, you have to accept that as the terms, uh, or like don't whine about it.
Hmm. So if it's an abusive relationship, deal with the abuse or get out.
Exactly. Like don't cry to people if you're gonna stay. I'm not an empathetic person, so if you make your bed and continue to lay in it, like that's what it is.
And you,
Uh, as a country person, they have all country, one of those little stories that kind of like have a meaning to it. Anyway, I'll just tell you. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, so
Abel.
sure, we'll go with that. A guy walking by, and this old man sitting on the porch in a rocking chair, and he hears a dog holler like, "Ooh!" like, uh, like, hey, Mister, what's wrong with your dog? Your dog seems to be in pain. It's just laying there holding. And the old guy says to the man walking by, that dumb dog is laying on him down.
Hmm.
Why would the dog move? And the old man says in the rocking chair, he said, well, I reckon it doesn't hurt bad enough yet.
Mm.
And that's it. Like when the pain is bad enough, you'll stop. So
Mm.
it's it's either you haven't been hurt enough times to make a change, a definitive change in your practice of doing business, that you're the old dog laying on.
Mm.
So that's my non-empathetic.
It's pretty good. So don't be an old dog. Have you had a time? Excuse me. Excuse me. What nails are you laying on? And is it worth the pain? You let us know in the comments.
All right, click and subscribe. We're out of here.